Today, we're doing a deep dive into an experience that is, well, it's becoming alarmingly common, but we rarely see it captured with this kind of raw detail.
Right.
We're working from a single source. It's a really powerful personal account, Transcribe, and it's titled 20 Years in a Box.
And this is the monologue of a man, we'll call him Mark D. He's 42 years old.
And he's reflecting on the 7 days since he lost the career that really defined his entire adult life.
So our mission here is to get past the headline, man gets laid off.
Yeah, and really unpack the seismic disruption that happens when a 20-year identity is just terminated.
Completely.
We jump right into this immediate, almost visceral piece of evidence. He calls it the phantom alarm.
It's credible.
For 20 years, his body was trained, and now, a full week after being fired, he wakes up every single morning at 6:15 a.m.
Every single morning.
His heart is hammering, pure adrenaline, because his subconscious thinks he's overslept, that he's late for a 9 a.m. briefing.
That he's missed his window to beat traffic.
Yeah.
All of it.
And then, he says, the reality hits him like a physical punch to the gut. There's no commute, there's no briefing, there's no job.
And what's so clear from that one detail is how deeply professional life gets integrated into our actual neurobiology.
It's not just a routine.
No, we're not even talking about the paycheck yet. This is a learned physiological response.
Yeah.
For 2 decades, his internal clock was synced to that corporate rhythm.
So that 6:15 a.m. panic, that's his body releasing cortisol.
Absolutely. It's preparing for the stress of the day.
Yeah.
But now that stress has nowhere to go. The emergency signal is firing, but the emergency itself has just vanished.
So it's just pure unspent anxiety.
That's it. It shows that your professional identity isn't just a mental thing. It's hormonal. It's physical. His body knows he's supposed to be doing something crucial, and the fear of not doing it is overriding the fact that there's nowhere to go.
To really get the depth of that panic, we have to go back. We have to look at what was lost. The source calls this part the green beginnings. He describes walking into that company at 22 years old, fresh out of college, wearing a suit that didn't fit quite right. You can just picture it.
Oh, yeah. The eagerness.
And this wasn't just a job. He says, and this is the quote, "That company raised me."
And that phrase carries so much weight. It raised me.
It does.
It means the company wasn't just an employer. It was a finishing school for being an adult. He didn't just learn skills. He learned how to navigate the world.
How to negotiate, how to manage a conflict.
How to speak up in a room full of, veterans. Even, he mentions, how to fix the jammed printer on a Friday afternoon.
Right. And that little detail, that's currency, isn't it? It's a sign that you belong, that you're indispensable to how the place actually runs.
It is. And the source really dives into the relational bonds that were built. This is where that social contract of loyalty gets written.
Not an HR manual.
No, in shared experience.
Oh.
He talks about his first boss, Sarah. Tough as nails, he says.
But she covered for his $5,000 mistake in his first month.
And think about that. That's an investment. That's mentorship built on faith. She covered for him, and in return, she secured his fierce loyalty to the idea of the company.
And that loyalty gets cemented by his cubicle neighbor, Greg.
10 years, side by side.
He says they watched each other get married, have kids, lose parents. They were in the trenches together.
That's a real community. And when you're terminated, you don't just lose your desk, you lose that entire web of social support, that history.
He also brings up the survival aspect. Navigating the bad ones, the office politics, the climbers who betray you in the boardroom. And he says that surviving all that gave him this flawed belief
What was it?
that enduring the bad times makes you safe.
And that is the absolute core of the psychological contract he signed. He believed that if he showed resilience, if he stayed late, if he fixed the problems.
The company would provide permanence in return.
Exactly. He survived all the internal maneuvering, which blinded him to the fact that the company itself was changing into something that, well, it no longer valued that kind of loyalty.
Which brings us perfectly to that change, the slow decline. He even says, "I should have seen the writing on the wall."
And the writing was there. But he was, still reading that old contract. He describes this huge cultural shift over the last 3 years.
The atmosphere just evaporated.
Right. It went from a meritocracy, a family vibe, to being purely about the bottom line. The soul just left the building.
And the tangible proof of that was 3 straight years with no year-end bonus.
That's the hard data.
And look at the pattern of excuses. Year 1, they blame market conditions.
Which is the easiest pill to swallow. It's external, it's impersonal. It lets you think, okay, the company loves me, but the economy's just tough.
It keeps the loyalty going. Then, year 2, the excuse shifts to restructuring costs.
And that's the classic loyalty test. Stick with us through this lean patch mark. Your dedication will be rewarded. It implies you're all in it together.
But then year 3 comes, and there's no excuse for the missing bonus, just an automated email wishing them happy holidays.
That's silence.
The indifference of it, it's not just about the money anymore.
No, it's the failure to even provide the courtesy of a lie. And that, he says, was the definitive signal. The company was done playing the role of a partner. It was a complete emotional detachment.
So if he saw the signal, why stay? Was he just being naive?
That's a great question, but the source suggests it was more about professional inertia
Yeah.
and fear.
He was comfortable. He was the expert everyone came to.
That's a powerful feeling, that sense of being indispensable. And then there's the big question, where else do you go after 20 years?
Right.
I mean, when you're 42 and you've only known one place, the idea of re-entering the job market is terrifying. You start to fear that all your deep knowledge is worthless outside those specific walls.
The comfort of the known just outweighed the danger signs.
It did, until the known abruptly erased him.
20 years of investment just gone in 15 minutes.
It's brutal.
He describes the meeting, scheduled deceptively as a generic status update.
The corporate machine using bureaucratic language to hide the blow.
And the contrast is just horrifying. 2 decades of late nights, missed moments with his kids, all of it.
Dissolved in a 15-minute conversation with an HR rep he'd never even met.
A complete stranger.
And that just highlights the dehumanizing nature of it all. They bring in a stranger to read a pre-written script. His entire legacy gets reduced to a folder.
The severance package.
Yeah, the folder replaces thousands of hours of his life. The efficiency of it is a form of emotional violence. It proves his dedication had zero value to the machine at that moment.
Which is why that quote hits so hard. He wasted my loyalty on a machine that didn't love me back.
He thought loyalty was a currency he's banking. He spent 20 years of it expecting security in return.
But the machine's definition of success had changed.
And his currency was devalued to zero. The realization that his dedication was unilateral. That's the true scar.
So now we get to the immediate fallout, where the identity crisis crashes into pure, practical fear.
And the financial anxiety is so specific.
He and his wife built their life on the assumption of that stable income. The mortgage, college for one kid, braces for another.
All of it. And overnight, that foundation is gone.
Yeah.
He even talks about the worry his wife is trying to hide. It's not just his crisis, it's a family crisis. Instantly.
And then he tries to re-enter the market, and the psychological crisis just explodes. He hits the wall of professional relevance. He says logging onto LinkedIn makes him feel like an alien.
Because the market isn't speaking his language anymore.
Exactly. He spent 20 years on proprietary systems, maybe older software. Now he's seeing job descriptions asking for fluency in Salesforce or Slack or Miro.
Things that didn't even exist when he started.
They want digital transformation ninjas.
And his DUP experience is now seen as functionally specialized, maybe even obsolete. His loyalty to one company made him an expert inside its walls, but a stranger in the broader market.
And this feeling of being obsolete, that's the core injury for someone mid-career.
It is. He's 42. He feels lost and confused because his definition of expertise no longer matches the world's definition.
And the source keeps bringing this fear back to the physical. He talks about this terrified feeling in the pit of his stomach. He knows with absolute certainty that tomorrow morning he will wake up at 6:15 a.m. in that same panic.
Reaching for his ID badge.
Reaching for a useless ID badge and remembering all over again that I'm nobody.
And that statement, "I'm nobody," is really the tragic conclusion here. His job title was his self-definition. Without the badge, without the routine, the fear is this desperate physical response to the complete erasure of his identity.
We've really seen how loyalty, comfort, and identity can get so tangled up in a single career.
Making the termination not just a financial loss, but a complete existential crisis.
So as you're listening to this, what does this all mean for you? We've walked through Mark's entire journey. What stands out more as the bigger betrayal? The slow, gradual detachment from the company, or the sudden surgical shock of that 15-minute firing?
And here's the final thought we want to leave you with. Mark's experience shows the profound cost of that kind of singular career loyalty. So in today's corporate world, what's the modern equilibrium you have to strike between professional dedication and maintaining a flexible, independent identity? What protective emotional systems can you put in place now while you're secure to ensure your sense of self isn't entirely defined by your employer, so that if the machine decides to detach, you still know exactly who you are?